All right, I'm here to refute the affirmative's claim that we should repeal the Freedom Act and use the former Patriot Act. So a few reasons why, or main claims why, is the government can still collect the metadata regardless of the Freedom Act. The Freedom Act did not lead to any increase in terrorism. The Patriot Act did not deter terrorism. And the Patriot Act infringes on our constitutional rights. So Ken Dilanian for Telegraph wrote an article of how does the U.S. Freedom Act affect the NSA surveillance. And he wrote that phone record collection will resume for 6 months provided that the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court orders phone companies to turn over the records and that no court stops it under various pending laws. So he's just saying that they could still do it for 6 months and all they have to do is get actual court orders, because before that they were just providing subpoenas and no warrant appointed by or approved by an actual judge. In addition, he also said that the new law gives private companies more leeway to publicly report information about the number of national security surveillance demands that they received. Because prior to the Freedom Act, they had to remain quiet about what the government told them to turn over. They couldn't tell anybody or disclose any public information about the information that they had to turn over. In addition, he said that it does not affect another major Snowden revelation. The NSA's collection of foreign internet content from U.S. companies, a program that sweeps up lots of American communications. So they still have other ways of getting all of this information. They just have to go about it in more legal ways than what they did before. So the Freedom Act did not lead, this leads me to the next point, the Freedom Act did not lead to any increase in terrorism. So according to the United States Department of State on their annual report on terrorism, the total terrorist attacks worldwide 6 months before the Freedom Act was 1,270, and 6 months after was 821. The decrease doesn't have anything to do with the Freedom Act. It's just to show that there's no negative correlation. In fact, there's a positive one. So the Freedom Act did not lead to an increase in terrorism still. Same source, the total deaths 6 months before the Freedom Act was 2,340, and the total deaths after worldwide was 1,639. Same thing, there was no increase in terrorism activity after the Freedom Act was activated. So the Patriot Act did not deter terrorism. So according to an article by the Electric Frontier Foundation, on December 1st, 2000, the NSA expressed the desire to live on the network. So after that, by the time that's when they started their surveillance techniques, we should have seen a decrease in terrorist activities. But we see that with their surveillance activities, the Intercept writes that the U.S. mass surveillance has no record of thwarting large terror attacks. This is an article they wrote, and of the only incident that the NSA has ever disclosed in which a domestic metadata collection program played a key role involved a San Diego man who was convicted of transferring $8,500 to Al-Shabaab in Somalia, the terror group responsible for a mass shooting at a mall in Kenya. And the metadata program is the only one that has been reined in since the Snowden disclosures. Another piece of information from the ACLU is that between 2003 and 2006, the FBI issued 192,499 national security letters, which are letters that they can provide where they can take information without actually having a warrant, and you don't get to go to a court date until after they actually take all the information. And it only led to one terror-related conviction, the conviction that would have occurred even without the Patriot Act because it was based on a tip from the British government. So to continue, the Patriot Act did not deter terrorism. The Intercept also wrote that President Obama said that the NSA averted at least 50 threats because of this information gathered through communications collection in the United States and abroad, but only 13 of the 54 states had some connection to the U.S., of cases had some connection to the U.S. And they were not all terror plots. A majority involved providing material support like money to foreign terror organizations. So of all of the terror cases that they even stated, most of them ended up being debunked. Most of them weren't actual terror problems, they were just money laundering or giving money to a foreign terror organization. So of the two examples stated by the affirmative, most of them happened, or the two of them, the New York attack and the Boston Marathon, happened actually before the Freedom Act and during the Patriot Act. So those being examples of the Freedom Act causing an increase in crime doesn't really help it. In addition, another state point that we'd like to make is the Freedom Act keeps the government from infringing on our rights. So the House of Representatives wrote an article called the USA Freedom Act Archives, and it's just a summary of what happens, and their description of it was it prevents government overreach and prohibiting large-scale indiscriminate collection that was previously acceptable. In addition, Ken Delanian from Telegraph wrote, "What else will change under the Freedom Act? It requires declassification of FISA court opinions containing significant legal decisions, or a summary if declassification is not possible. That is designed to prevent secret interpretations such as the ones that allow bulk collection of U.S. phone records." So they have to disclose any court cases that provide significant results that would allow them to collect any information without us knowing about. So now they have to disclose that. In addition, a summary by lawyer Richard Horowitz shows that Section 210 allows law enforcement to subpoena additional subscriber records from servicers, such as records of sessions and durations and means of source of payment, without any warrant or government or any court approval. He also talks about Section 215, which is what drove the metadata collection program. That's what they based all of it on. And it allows the director of the FBI to access certain business records for foreign intelligence and international terrorism investigations, where such investigation is to be conducted under guidelines by the Attorney General. So basically the foreign intelligence, the FBI director can get any information that he wants as long as the Attorney General deems it okay, and they don't need any judge to approve that or any warrant. They can just do it because of the Patriot Act. And finally, Section 220 allows for nationwide service of a search warrant for electronic evidence. So they can serve the entire nation a search warrant all at once to take all of their information from a communications provider. So in conclusion, there is no real need to get rid of the Freedom Act because it doesn't increase terrorism, and the Patriot Act before it didn't decrease terrorism.